Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy back at it again with another fishing episode. Today we are going to talk about one of my favorite deals to do is summertime fishing. I'm going to break down all the baits I like to use. I try to dumb it down to about 4 to 5, but I can't really do that because there's so many good baits to throw during this time of year. One of the big deals for me is a drop shot. And right now I've got it paired up with a 6/8 medium Obsidian rocks rod and a spinning rod, and it's just a perfect size to fish any finesse presentation you like to throw, like a shaky head, drop shot. It doesn't matter, like a Ned rig, turds, and it's just a good all-around finesse rod. Right now I've got it paired up with a Daiwa Crossfire 3000 series with 10-pound Suffix braid to 6 to 8 pound fluorocarbon. And the way I got it rigged up is I've got the 6-inch straight tail RoboWorm. I've got it Texas rigged. I'm using the size 4 EWG Rocks Crusher hook, and it's a perfect drop shot hook. It's light enough wire to you can set the hook real easy, but it's also strong enough to not bend whenever you hook into a big fish. And the weight I'm using is a 1/4 ounce tungsten weight, and it's very key to use tungsten because I can feel every single bit of structure whenever I'm casting with this. The tungsten makes a big difference from lead. But yeah, this is one of my favorite deals to do when I'm in summertime fishing, when the fish are offshore and they're kind of suspended off the bottom. This right here will be always tied on whenever I'm going fishing, like on Thunderbird or anywhere really. Next up, one of my favorite baits to throw is the 6XD crankbait, other than the drop shot. Whenever they're really active, chasing shad, all that stuff, a 6XD crankbait. And of course it's by Strike King, one of the best hard baits I've ever fished with. And it's in green gizzard shad. And I've caught many fish with this. Whenever those fish are offshore, kind of suspended off the brush and away from it, or kind of in it, so they want to ambush something, so that big crankbait kind of triggers those big fish to bite. And I've caught so many giants with this one bait. I've already got one 7-pounder on this bait, and I've got a couple 4s, a few 3s, and a ton of 2 to 1 pounders on this one bait right here. So if you guys want to try, like, if you don't have any confidence in deep dive crankbaits, big crankbaits like this one is the one you need to start with. That 6XD crankbait, whenever you're fishing like 18 to 20 foot, that right there is just the perfect bait whenever to start out deep dive crankbait fishing. Next up is another bait that everybody should have at least in their boat, is a 10-inch worm. And I believe this one right here is the Old Monster, and the Zoom Old Monster and Watermelon Candy. And I usually Texas rig it when I'm fishing about the foot, like 10 to 12 to 14, 15 is usually when I use my lighter stuff. I'll use like a 3/8 and lower weights for my Texas rigs. Or whenever I'm fishing like 20 foot and beyond, I'll use a 1/2 ounce or 3/4 ounce. That's when I'm fishing, you know, those big brush piles, the offshore humps, and like the ledges and all that stuff. I'll use that 1/2 ounce weight with my Texas rig 10-inch worms. Next up is, of course, everybody's favorite bait to throw during the summer, is a topwater. So this is when I couldn't really break down everything, so I've got 3 different baits I have a lot of confidence in. First up is, of course, your whopper plopper style baits. Like whenever you want to cover a lot of water, you want to get that bigger bite, whenever that early morning bite, when you're there just right before the sun gets up, you're trying to get after them fish and you just want to cover a lot of water. The whopper plopper is usually pretty good, but the one bait I like to throw a lot, I always catch a ton of fish on and catch a lot of big fish, is a walking style bait, like Zara Spooks, your Strike King Sexy Dogs, your Zuri Sammies, I believe, or Lucky Strike, I can't remember. But yeah, any walking style bait that represents an injured shad just walking across, it's a killer bait this time of year. Whenever it's that early morning, or schooling fish even, whenever they're freaking busting on shad, just fire this thing out there and just burn it through, and you'll catch a lot of fish. And of course, one of my other favorite topwater baits I like to throw whenever it's kind of slow and you can still cover a lot of water with, is a popper. And I believe this one right here is the Academy H2O Express popper. And I've got it in bluegill, I've got it in ghost shad, ghost minnow, all those colors. This bait right here is a good bait, and it's a perfect price whenever you're fishing on a budget. Next up is definitely one thing I like to throw a lot whenever the fish are wanting to fish closer to the bottom, want to stay close to hard cover, like big rocks and all that stuff. It's going to have to be a jig. Usually I'll pick up like a football jig, usually 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounces, ones I like to throw a lot. But this guy right here, a AJ Finesse jig by Jill Bates, and 7/16 is just enough to where I can fish deep water, shallow water. I can fish it anywhere, and I can drag it, hop it, do whatever. This bait right here can do it all. But something new from Jewel I've been really enjoying is the Jewel Gem Shad. And it's a Swimbait head, and it's got a bait keeper on there to where your rib style swim baits like your Rage Swimmers and your Kitex don't get pulled off so easy. See, I'm pulling on it as hard as I can, it's not even coming off. And I'm very impressed with these jig heads. This right here is one of my favorite swim bait heads to throw. I've caught a few fish on them already, and I'm ready to catch some more on. I'm ready to start catching some big spotted bass with this. And I've got a lot of confidence in it. The way this Gem Shad swimbait head really is as soon as you're slow rolling it in the water, it just slowly shimmies side to side, just slowly shimmies, and it just looks like a slowly down bait, fish, shad, whatever the fish are going after. And it's just one of those jig heads that is probably going to be in my tackle box no matter where I go. But yeah, that covers all my summertime tactics. If I had to really rate from my favorite to ones I will probably ever throw, the first one will definitely be the drop shot. The drop shot will always be in my hand whenever I'm having a tough day or just out there wanting to catch fish. And don't ever think a drop shot's just meant for numbers. A drop shot has caught me giants. I mean, I'm talking like 4 to 5 pounders, and on light stuff. So you don't have to work, like you do have to worry about your line and all that stuff, but it's more fun to catch fish on light gear. But, and of course, my 6XD crankbait's a big deal. Topwater, 10-inch worms, swim baits, and jigs are usually my go-to stuff. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to leave a like, comment down below what you think, and I'll see y'all later.